big little legs. Skinny kid with plenty.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's ZTAY, aka Lil Red. He had no idea who this player would become. And it's about the man Jokic, man. Before we get started, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, go subscribe to JimmerRange if you haven't already. I guess I'm doing it right now too. Let's get into it, man.
He became the best basketball player on the planet. Most know him for what he's doing today. The two-time MVP Nikola Jokic headed to the NBA Finals with a great chance to win a title. But most know little about him off the court. We get these little nuggets of information, no pun intended. They give us some insight, but also just more questions. His off seasons are spent on whatever this is, riding behind a horse. We get these photos of a young, more out of shape Jokic that just get you thinking about how he became the player we see today. We have these brothers that from the outside looking in are polar opposites to Jokic. I mean, just look at them. They're on the sideline trying to fight Suns players.
Man, his brothers are like mobsters, bro. Like they
so MPJ.
Like he got some, but they're like they really like they'll come out on the court and try to fight like almost every other game, and they're so different than Joker, but they take care of him.
I wouldn't be messing with these guys. This is one of his brothers. He was drafted in a Taco Bell commercial.
Wait, what? His brother's actually a fighter. I thought they were just mean.
They're so different than
this
Joker.
man's really boxing somebody.
I wouldn't be messing with these guys.
Hey.
This is one of his brothers. He was drafted in a Taco Bell commercial.
Second round, 41st
while
pick.
He was asleep. It was his brother in New York that called him popping bottles to be greeted by a grumpy younger brother on the other end of the phone. He had been selected with the 41st pick in the second round.
I'm not gonna lie, every time I see this damn picture right here, it makes me want to go get Taco Bell. There's some good advertising, Taco Bell. Taco Bell needs to go sponsor Nikola Jokic right now. I don't know why they haven't done it already, bro.
So the question is, did scouts miss something?
Ooh,
and the answer is absolutely not. Jokic's draft story is not one of Adam Sandler fighting this kid that no one had ever heard of. Every front office got the chance to see Jokic with their very own two eyes, and actually on multiple occasions. He signed with a professional team overseas when he was 16. How long had he been playing?
For real, I started last year, you know. But I play in my hometown summer. I play basketball.
Damn, did he get a black eye? Huh? This man Jokic got in a fight with his older brothers. Gotta be. This man got a black eye in the interview. But that's crazy. He said he started at 16 years old. Oh no, 15, he said a year before. And Joel Embiid low-key did the same thing. The two best big men in the league started late. Just because, I feel like that's not crazy to say though, because like, most of the time you're not thinking about basketball until you're like 6'11", and everybody's like, bro, you can do this for a living. Like you can make millions of dollars just because of your height. Get you a trainer.
I have to practice one of day, you know, and that is one half hour, you know. So something like that.
Whatever he said there. But then he got a chance to play with the Serbian U19 team in the 2013 World Cup. This is where he would start to catch some attention. He averaged just 7 points, but most front office...
Not gonna lie, this international ball looks dope, bro. Like, it looks really nice. I actually want to start really watching international basketball just to see how it is, because a lot of international players that come from overseas, like, they're so smart. Like, they could read defenses better than, like, some of the American players. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they teach overseas. Like, think about it. Luka and Jokic, bro, can both read defenses like nothing. They both say it's easier when they come over here, so I don't know what we got going over here, bro. I don't know if it's the coaches over here or what.
Big, hitting 2 threes against the US to close the tournament. Back with his professional club the following season, he would go up to 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. He had done just enough to secure a spot at the Nike Hoop Summit, a collection of workouts, scrimmages, and games between the top prospects in the US
Stanley
versus
Johnson.
the world. He would be playing against future top picks like Jahlil Okafor, Justice Winslow, and Miles Turner. He'd be playing with future top picks like Karl Anthony Towns, Emmanuel Mudiay, and Jamal Murray. Despite making just 1 shot in the actual game, throughout the play prior, he had been easily the most productive player over the last 2 days, thanks to his shooting ability and footwork in the post. But despite all that, NBA scouts weren't impressed, and this was just 2 months before the draft. Jokic summed up the most prominent sentiment pretty well during an interview at that Hoop Summit. He was asked if he ever had interest in college basketball. This is what he said.
Like, in college basketball, it's so fast, it's so, everybody jumps so high. I don't jump, I just play basketball, like, 1-on-1, 2-on-2, something like that. I don't jump, high.
Man, Jokic is so cool, bro.
Fast, so.
The player that couldn't even do a push-up when he signed a professional contract less than 2 years ago had no fear giving it to us straight. I don't jump high, I don't run fast. Now this wasn't news to any scouts, they were seeing it with their own 2 eyes. His own coach from the summit said, if anybody in the gym predicted that he would become what he is now, I would be shocked. I saw that he could become a good NBA player in time, but even that was debatable at that point in time. NBADraft.net would say, unfortunately, his physical limitations, namely lack of quickness and foot speed, severely limit his chances to make it to the NBA. He's a solid mid-level European prospect due to his size and shooting ability. He could be a poor man's Boris Diaw. He will probably be the 4th or 5th scoring option whenever he's in the game. However, there's no shame in being a respectable reserve on a winning team.
Boris Diaw was kind of good,
That's from Bleacher Report. No matter how impressive he was on the court, NBA scouts were just not willing to overlook his physical flaws, and rightfully so.
Man was shooting.
He was able to overcome them. It's not like he was a sure thing. He wasn't a great athlete. He wasn't a great shooter. This was luck.
And you know what's crazy? Like, you look back at younger Jokic, he was low-key skinnier back then. Like, I feel like he's bigger now. Like, he's put on some weight now.
He was on the court. NBA scouts were just not willing to
overlook his physical flaws. And you see that picture from when he was a kid.
So, you have been able to overcome them. It's not like he was a sure thing. He wasn't a great athlete. He wasn't a great shooter. This was luck. That's from Tim Connolly, the man that drafted Nikola Jokic.
What?
When the Nuggets selected him, it was purely out of FOMO, a guy who might be a breakout guy. We thought about past drafts of teams that missed on guys like him, like Marc Gasol. Wasn't exactly Adonis when he was selected in the 2nd round and turned into a great player. The luck would go even further. Out of pure coincidence.
I think they're taking that out of context. I think I know what he meant by like, it was luck. I think basically it was like a high risk, high reward scenario. Like, in those drafts, you're like, hey, this might be a sleeper pick, but if it's not, oh well, it's 2nd round, who cares? So I guess it's a low risk, high reward type of thing here. I think that's what he meant by luck, just that situation. I don't think he meant like he thinks he's gonna suck. But like, you could see the potential. Like, I think this could be the sleeper of the draft, and he was right, man.
The Nuggets had recently brought on a scout focused on European talent. Up until this point, he was just an unpaid intern with the Utah Jazz. It just so happened that he had gotten to see a little bit more from Jokic, see his development. He wasn't singing his praises, he wasn't even necessarily advocating for the selection of Jokic, but it really just took him being a more familiar face for the Nuggets to get that feeling of missing out, creeping up more and more to the point that they selected him. Now, knowing what he's become today, it's easy to look back at that Hoop Summit highlight reel and see the blatant talent on display, but every single one of our eyes would have been clouded by the blatant concerns. If the same story happened again, the same outcome would happen. Scouts didn't miss something. The only intrigue, even for the Nuggets, was taking a shot in the dark on a guy that one day might be an okay backup. There is and will only ever be one Nikola Jokic. His game is nearly impossible to replicate, and most of that stems from his unique personality. You have someone that just doesn't seem to care that much. He's sleeping while getting drafted, something that's the pinnacle of most players' life up until that point.
Bro, not only that, I just listened to an interview like yesterday, I think, and they were talking about like, how does it feel now that you won the Western Conference Finals? He's like, honestly, I don't really care. I thought it would be a better feeling than this. Like, I'm just ready to play the finals. Like, he really doesn't even care. He just wants to play basketball. He just enjoys playing basketball. There was also, I saw this interview in 2011. It was recently. They're like, in 2011, you tweeted something talking about you were trying to find people for pickup basketball. How much have you changed since that guy? He's like, I don't think I have. Like, I still think it's hard to find pickup basketball. I just like to play basketball, like 3-on-3, 2-on-2 outside of this. So, he don't even have social media. He said it's a waste of time. This man just wants to come play basketball, and that's all he cares. Like, that's beautiful to see a true hooper.
He says things like this all the time.
Nah, that cannot help you. But the thing that, I knew that even before, that the basketball is not the main thing in my life. and probably never gonna be.
But when out there, despite being one of the biggest players on the court, despite appearing to be out of shape compared to those around him, he's playing over 40 minutes in the playoffs, playing at 100.
I don't even think he's out of shape. He's just slow.
He's running end to end.
Just
he's
slow.
popping right back up off the ground, all while being the best player on the court. That doesn't look like someone that doesn't care, but it's in a different way than most. A lot of guys eat, sleep, and breathe basketball. It's something that's very serious to them. Jokic looks at it no more than the creator James Naismith did. Just a game. It doesn't mean he doesn't want to win. In fact, it's all he wants to do. There's no ego. There's no alternative motivation. Every single
seen it
second,
with that MVP.
he's just
he
trying to
didn't
do what
care.
gives them the best chance to win. A lot buy into this mentality at this point in the year. The difference is that it was never a mentality change.
So
for
much
Jokic.
people don't know
Since
anything
we've
about
seen him with
Jokic,
the
to be
basketball,
honest,
it's
bro.
been a constant. That's what created the best passing game.
Like, think about it. All these damn narratives that they put on him the whole year, like, oh, we don't want him with the MVP because this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And then people start disliking Jokic because people are saying it on Twitter. When really, this is the type of dude is like, hey, if this is causing a distraction for the team, give the other guy MVP. I don't want it. I don't care about the MVP. I just want to play basketball and win. Like, he doesn't care about these awards, but the fans care so much on Twitter, the toxic Twitter fans, that they create this beef and then people dislike him as a player for no reason. And that's the problem with modern day, like, social media in the NBA is people dislike players not because of their game, but because of they seen something on Twitter that made them angry.
Not just that, one of the best passers we've ever seen. He didn't become a great passer for the value that it brought to him as a player. He became a great passer because when the best option was to pass, he did. Treating it as just a game and nothing more is why he's been able to experiment, why he's unfazed, why he's able to craft these no-look, needle-threading passes. We praise this fearless work ethic mentality. The best example would be Kobe Bryant's Mamba mentality.
Yes, sir.
And rightfully so, we've seen the success that can have.
But you think about it, Kobe Bryant is literally 6'5". Come on, bro. Jokic is 6'11". There you have, and when you're a player like this, a 6'5" guard or a smaller guard, and that's the only position you could play as a guard, maybe a low small ball wing, you have to work out and practice more than the center. The center, if you already have the size, you don't have to train as hard because you already have an advantage over people. That's why Kobe had to work so hard, because if he didn't work this damn hard, he wouldn't be in the NBA. If Jokic didn't, like, Jokic doesn't even have to work half as hard as him, or Embiid doesn't have to work half as hard as him because they're already big. Anthony Davis, too.
Be Kobe Bryant's Mamba mentality. And rightfully so, we've seen the success that can have. But it's interesting that nearly an opposite mentality can be just as effective.
Only if you're big.
To grasp from a
Only if
prospect.
you're big.
It's hard to grasp whether that translates to playing carefree and unfazed.
You could say
or that
Allen
translates
Iverson, but
to just a non-existent work ethic.
that's just a
and
meme, to
disinterest
be
in
honest.
the game completely.
He's still
couldn't
practice.
answer that for Jokic leading up to the draft. And it was a question most didn't even feel worth answering for a player that already had so many physical limitations to overcome. We also can't overlook the situation Jokic went to. The scout that raised attention to Jokic, he's still on the team. The GM that drafted him, Tim Connolly, he was on the team till he got a bag to go to Minnesota a year ago. And his coach, during his very first game, Mike Malone, is still the man coaching
Tim Connolly's the one that suspended Rudy.
Now. The Nuggets gave Jokic a starting role just a couple months into his rookie season. No new personnel came in with a different perception of his value. Year in and year out
You think about it, all the good centers in the NBA are overseas. That's actually crazy. Like, there's only a few good centers that are from here, United States. Like, everybody else is overseas. Is Sabonis overseas? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Sabonis overseas. He might be here. But Rudy Gobert, Jokic, Embiid, like, these guys are all overseas. I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head. I mean, we got Bam and I was going to say DeAndre Ayton, but I think he might be Canadian. I don't even know, man. Just think about it.
The team quickly adjusted to running the offense through him, allowing his development to become a rocket ship. There are very few other organizations that you can justify would have produced a similar outcome. He is the Joker. A mysterious
centers just
man
do
with
too
a
much
unique
nowadays,
approach
bro.
No one
you don't have to do that much as a center.
Even see coming.
I think they just train too much here in the United States. They just teach too much complex things instead of the fundamentals. Even Kobe Bryant says that all the time. I saw this quote with Kobe and MJ. Kobe was just talking about he was trying to train his daughter, right? And he texted Michael Jordan. He's like, man, I forgot what I was doing at this age. What were you doing, like, training wise? And Michael Jordan was like, I was playing baseball. And Kobe just like, damn, it just made me realize like all this extra training that I see all the time. Like when I was 16, I was just practicing the most basic stuff. And I think that's usually the players that are the best practice the most basic stuff instead of all this complex stuff, you know? I don't know. But he had no idea who this player would become. Shout out to Nikola Jokic leading the Nuggets to the finals. In my opinion, they're going to win the finals. But we'll find out. They got a huge rest because Game 7 in Celtics and Heat. By the time you're watching this video, I don't know where we're at right now. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, man. This is ZTAY. Peace.